Stephanie Ruhle, I really love Stephanie Ruhle because she is normally tops. She covers finances, but it seems like she has the feeling that there is something wrong to come out and really hit the banking system, as it will almost cause its demise, which is what I think should happen anyway. But I want you to listen to Stephanie, and then she almost proves that the banking system is a fraud. And then the other piece that I'm going to play that I already did at KPFT is what I consider the solution, or what the solution should be. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side.
Can the Fed do administratively or through other means what they're talking about doing legislatively, but will never pass Congress, which is to reinstate some of the stress testing and some of the higher capitalization standards?
Well, there's two things going on here. One is in 2018, they removed watered down a lot of the regulatory rules introduced after the last 2008 financial crisis. That was nuts. I can't say that strongly enough. And we're now seeing the cost of that, particularly doing that in an era of cheap money. The other issue, though, is that they hamstrung the Fed and the FDIC in terms of the powers that it could use to actually stabilize the system. They took away a lot of the mechanisms they employed in 2008, and they're simply not allowed to do those kind of things anymore. Again, that was nuts. So there needs to be a really wholesale look at how the regulatory system has evolved in the last few years, and lessons need to be learned from places like Europe, quite frankly, where there's a much better deposit insurance scheme. And I'd just like to say one other thing about this finger pointing at the Silicon Valley, venture funds and stuff like that. These guys have a fiduciary duty to their own investors to act in the face of risks. So if they pulled money out of Silicon Valley Bank early last week, knowing that there were problems building in that bank, yes, you can say that actually accelerated the bank run, but they also had a fiduciary duty to do that, because if they hadn't, they could have been sued by their own investors.
Andrea, can I add on to that?
Jump in, Steph, sure.
Two things. People keep talking about this rolling back of Dodd-Frank in 2018, part of it, whether it was a good or a bad idea, and there's all this political finger pointing. There's one important thing to point out. Had the full Dodd-Frank still been in place today, Silicon Valley Bank would have passed the stress tests. And I think there's this general idea out there, more regulation versus less regulation. What it is smart regulation and actually implementing it. And the point Jillian just made about the fiduciary responsibilities of all those VCs is a really important one that I think is getting lost kind of in translation. The CEO of Silicon Valley Bank did something highly unusual that was a massive mistake. He got on a conference call with all of their customers and basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, we had this loss, guys, but we've been there for you for a long time. Please keep your deposits and be there for us. He was clearly skittish, and had all of those customers not pulled their money out, they could then be sued by their investors saying, hold on a sec. You were saying to the CEO, I got your back, and now our money's gone. The point Jillian just made is a really important one.
I want you guys to, there is one particular section that Katie, that she said, Stephanie Ruhle said, that just proves our banking system is but a fraud. Listen to what she said. First of all, she wanted to come out and say, if it would have been, it's their fiduciary duty, if they know something was happening with the bank, to draw the money out of the bank. But what is it that was happening to the bank? If people drew their money out of the bank would not have the money to cover it. So the bank wanted to make sure they had the money to cover it. So they went on the market to try to raise some money. All right, here's the thing. If you have an economic system, a banking system within an economic system that says there is no way people that says there can be a run on a bank that actually brings a bank down, and that because they didn't stay quiet about the run on the bank, or they didn't stay quiet about not having enough money to cover their assets, that brings down a system. The fact that just keeping quiet about it could have saved them is what she's saying. proves the fraudulency within the system. The banking system shouldn't depend or grow and fall if everybody wanted to get their money in the long run, given that that other money, the actual assets of the bank, one would believe is in other loans, is in securities, etc., right? But that's not how it works. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.